Yeah, pour it up, let the bourbon speak. Call me old-fashioned, we bringing that heat. 100 proof, sipping flavor on blast. Dabbling with the rear view, raise your glass. Bourbon hunting for unicorns, that's the chase. High ride heat, put a smile on my face. Respect to the OGs, yeah, they set the tone. Tucks, Mr. Lopez, I rock, Aragon. Notes hit strong, low-key smooth ride. I'll see you on the other side.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to Call Me Old Fashioned, where we talk everything bourbon, whiskey, and of course, old fashions. Welcome to 2026. I have not gone live at all this year. Not that many weeks. How many weeks have it been? I don't know. What, 2? 1? We missed 2. Took a little breaksy. But we come back and we got to bring out a bottle that just really kind of just sets the tone for the year. And that's going to be the HAZMAT sitting next to me. We'll dive into that here in just a second. But we'll get a little warm up, right? Tonight's going to be more of a rare character talk, right? A little rare talk. But this one, right, that I got, I don't know if I was the biggest fan of it. I didn't dislike it, but it felt like Amberana finish to me, right? I got the same single barrel we'll be going over tonight from same people that picked it, right? This is Degenerate Wolfpack. I'm pretty sure it's the same people. I could be wrong. This one says Jacksonville Bourbon Whiskey Society and Shores. Got it from the same store, so it's got to be the same people, right? Right. We're going to go with that for now. So, anyways, so the one right here that I'm going to be sipping on for a second is going to be Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 7-year age, and 116.42 proof, right? Not too shabby, not too shabby. But the one next to it, opening it's going to be its own battle, just so you guys know. But this one's going to be an American Light Whiskey, 141.42 proof. So it is a HAZMAT little monster. This is a 20-year, 8-month age bottle. This thing was distilled back in 2005. This bottle's basically legal to drink. I'm just throwing that out there. Obviously, bottled in December 2025. Mash bill is 99.1, which is 99% corn, 1% malted barley. That's typical for American light whiskeys. I was doing my research because I really haven't had an American light whiskey. It's just never really caught my eye before. This one did, obviously. But when I was looking it up, some of the rules behind American light whiskey, right? Because it's obviously different than bourbon. Let me see if I can pull it up because I'm confused. I wanted to come on here and be like, these are the rules. I can't do that. I don't want to bullshit. One thing that across the board is about the same from everybody that says is that it has to be distilled at or above 160 proof, but under 190 proof, right? That's a given. So distilled, then it gets put into the shit, right? The part that threw me off here is it's supposed to be aged in either, where is it here? Stored or aged in uncharred new oak containers or used oak containers, right? But it's not supposed to be new charred. And that was like a consensus that I kind of saw everywhere. And I was like, all right, cool. That's why it's lighter. That's where the light part comes in. It's either used or it's not charred. And I was looking at this bottle, and you can tell a little bit in here, but not as drastic as I can right in front of me. This is a 7-year, 8-month age, or 7-year, 4-month age Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. This is the American Light Whiskey. The light whiskey is darker than the bourbon. Now you can say, hey, it's 20-year age. I get that. But that's when I was like, okay, let me just go ahead and turn the bottle, right? I can't read that backwards, so we're not going to. But it's distilled in Indiana, aged in Indiana, and it's aged in new charred oak. How's that possible if it's American Light Whiskey? You know what I mean? I'm over here trying to make sure I understand what the heck's going on. But if the consensus is supposed to be used or new uncharred oak barrels, and this is aged in new charred oak barrels, doesn't sound like American Light Whiskey to me. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's from Rare Character. They do their own thing, right? I get that. But American Light Whiskey, uncharred. I don't, you know what I mean? Don't know what I don't know what to do with that information. I looked it up and like the consensus was like uncharred or new or used. So let's check the chat. Caterpillar in the Caterpillar gang now says, whenever I get a rare character, I like to take the wax off, even on the neck, and meticulously remove it from the cork too. I kind of like the wax. Like I like it up there. That's why I try to cut it like as neat as I can, so that way I still can keep it. I'm not the rare character person that knows everything about it. I don't claim to be, but the wax has something to do with it. So, IROC says, "What's up, y'all? Cheers, team." Capital's IROC sighting. What's NFL saying? What do you mean? Can you hear my TV out there? That's not NFL. That's hockey. I did pause. I was trying to hear who made the goal. I couldn't tell. I think Panthers are losing. That is what it is. I bit my lip when I was eating dinner. And the first thing I thought of was, I'm going to get that hazmat. I'm going to burn the crap out of my mouth. Pizza, you know? So just before we dive into that one, right, we'll pace ourselves. This one was obviously distilled in 2018. This one's got a mash bill of 51% corn, 45% rye, 4% malted barley. This one was distilled and aged in Kentucky, aged in new charred oak, bottled by Rare Character. So this one's good, but bro, it is cinnamon-y, is the way I like to say it. It's just got a ton of cinnamon. Everybody says it's not Amberana finish, but somebody slipped a little couple scoops of cinnamon in this one. I don't care what they say. IROC went MIA last week in the Discord, bro. That Bears game was crazy. IROC says going Bills, Niners, Rams, Pats this weekend. I could see that. Denver may pull it out, though. Bills are hurt. Anyways, so that one's cool. It's good. It's not like my favorite by any means. The other two that are behind me that we'll go over after, the straight whiskey and the straight rye whiskey, those are fantastic from Rare Characters. But those are their, what is the limited? Is that what they're calling it? Yeah, the limited releases, batch 1 of each for 2025 of the whiskey and the rye. I've been seeing them more frequent. I see the bourbons a lot, but the people are charging quite a bit for them. They're like 150 plus. And they're good. I don't think they're 150 good, but what do I know? All right, everybody can make their own decision on that. IROC said Stedman is great for 25 to 30 bucks. IROC can't get in his own Discord, bro. It's like, it'd be like that sometimes. All right, let's try to stab our way through this bottle. And I've heard some techniques, right? I've heard the Discord. I've heard the people, but I'm not going to do any of that. So some people tell you to warm these bottles up. Some people will tell you to just manhandle it to shit and back. I think it's a little bit of everything, you know? You got to kind of slice where you believe the cork is and just kind of hope. I will say, man, this wax on these Rare Characters, they're a different animal. You know what I mean? They're not even, this ain't even wax. This is just, I need a little leverage. If I accidentally cut myself, does that like help the views, or like what happens with that? Like, is that part of the rules? Guys, if you're just now tuning in, drop a like on the stream. If you are new, subscribe. What are we doing? It's 2026. Bro, I don't know if I'll be able to get in this one. I'm already like over my limit. Normally I'm already in it. Bro, what are we doing? It's about the same unless the cork's at a different level. billet. See, this part is like when it gets all kind of like ratchet. That's when I could say like, yeah, getting all the wax off there probably would look better. You know what I mean? I don't think I have the patience for that though. Caterpillar says, well, just so you know, you heard it here first. Bears are going to win this Sunday. I will say, like, I'm definitely not like a Bears fan by any means, but watching them play, I was impressed how they came back. It just shows that they wanted it. That was probably one of the better games that I watched last weekend. Obviously, the Jags couldn't get it done. That was pitiful. That was still like a decent game to watch, though. I will say that. Like, pros and cons of it, obviously, but part of me thinks I'm not even like actually through this wax. Somebody said, don't start with the hazmat tonight. Wait, you gotta wait. I go, I can't wait too long, bro. I'll never get this wax off. I gotta be in the wrong spot, right? Get that cork deep in there. I just don't want to damage the cork either, you know? I'm sure with this typical bottle, though, I could replace that cork. You know what I mean? Like, there we go, boys. We did it. Absolutely just chopped it up to hell and back, but with it being that thick, though, even though, like, kind of chip it off, pro is there as you're chipping it. None's getting in that bottle. You know what I mean? No, I didn't even stab the cork. I'm like professional, rare character opener at this point. You know what I mean? Let's go ahead and put down this bottle. Put it over here for a minute so we can just talk this one. What do you guys think of this second angle? Like, I switched it up. I was trying something a little different. I don't know if I like it. That cork pop, though, I would say, like, it really wasn't a pop. Like, I get it. It was good effort. Good effort. But it ain't no old granddad 114 pop. You know what I mean? Are you a racist? What the fuck? Everybody's saying it's nuclear. I guess I really wasn't paying attention. I guess I wasn't paying attention to the pop like that. I was more worried about it actually opening. So here, let's see what a 20-year, 8-month age American Light Whiskey looks like. There you go. It actually doesn't look as dark on camera as it does in person. Like, it's definitely got some color for sure. But ooh, I'm horrible with corks. I guess I'm gonna have to listen to back. You guys are like, oh shit. All right, maybe it was a good cork pop. What do I know? Hopefully everybody's doing well. Bourbon lover, appreciate it. Welcome back. Happy Friday. Glad to have you. Guys, so yeah, just a recap as you guys are tuning in. So this is going to be a 20-year, 8-month age American Light Whiskey from Rare Character. It's one of the single barrel picks from the Degenerate Wolf Pack here. Also, I believe that's part of the Jacksonville Bourbon Whiskey Society. Shores Liquor was selling it. It's a HAZMAT, which is 141.42 proof. Mash bills 91 or 99 corn, 1% malted barley. The part that really throws me off, where I'm like, this thing got like a ton of age, is it was distilled in 2005. That feels like a lifetime ago. You know what I mean? Like, crazy. I will say, if you were wondering, it does have ethanol in the nose. For a HAZMAT, you know, it's a hit or miss, right? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. It does smell fairly sweet. I will give it that. I don't know if it's because I know Penelope's MGP, and Indiana typically puts out MGP, but it reminds me of Penelope a little bit on the nose. Not like their American Light Whiskey. I've never had that, but their barrel strength bourbon. You guys ever opened up, what is that? You know the Cheeto brand? Maybe that's a bad example, not Cheetos. The Smart Popcorn, right? Kind of smelled like that. Not like cheesy, but just like fresh, like out of a bag popcorn. Is the like that the note on the nose mixed with like caramel sweetness. Caterpillar says, bro's gonna taste it and say he wishes it a little. I wish the proof was just a little higher. Could you imagine? No, I don't think I'd say that. 141. It's not the highest I've ever had, but it's like top 5 for sure. It's definitely the highest one I own currently. That's one of the reasons why I bought it, because I was like, I don't own a HAZMAT right now. I own one that's close, which is the Woodfords, which that one's money. I wish I could describe it. That popcorn out of a bag, like you open up the bag of popcorn, you go in little popcorn vibe. All right. Again, just so you guys know, bit my lip. I'm not looking forward to that burning, but hopefully it rips it off like a Band-Aid. Let's get a little water. Yeah, super oily on the glass. It's not as dark. Like the bottle makes it look like really dark. Like in the glass, it's still decently colored, but now you can definitely start to tell it's American Light Whiskey. Drew says, the only rare character I have is a single barrel series, says, selected by Houday, and it's 123.7. That's pretty cool. Are you in Ohio? After the first 2 glasses, do consider downshifting to lesser quality alcohol. Pretty common, or a big no-no. I mean, it really just depends on you. You know what I mean? Like, some people will say that for sure. I typically like to slowly work up to the better whiskey, and then I like to kind of then drop down, like kind of almost like a roller coaster. I like to start with something, peak out at the good stuff, and then slowly work my way back down. But I drink it every which way all the time, so I wouldn't focus too much on that. Don't be hammered then being like, you know, we should drink Russell 15. Like, that's kind of defeating the purpose. Unless you want to drink it. You know, it's your whiskey. Chocolate Whisper Redux is right under. It's 139 point something, which means it was like a half a point shy of being considered HAZMAT. HAZMAT has to be 140 and above. Yeah, I got it here at Kroger in Cincinnati. It was only released at Kroger, I think. Probably, if it was just a single barrel, I'm sure that was a Kroger thing. I have a few. I have one other single barrel, and it's like a 7-year something. We were just drinking on that one. And then I have 2 of the limited releases. We're going to drink those here in a little bit, though. They're already open, but kind of run it back. All right. Cheers. That burnt the shit out of my mouth. I will say it has a ton of flavor. A lot of heat, a lot of little ethanol on there. To be honest, I'm going to say right off the bat, you probably have to like sip it a little slower. Let your palate get a little more acclimated to something like that. But also like half of it, bro, if I literally knew the moment I bit my lip earlier, I was like, I'm going to pay for that later. That's my next bottle, Iraq says. What's your next bottle? What'd I miss? It was fairly sweet. Fairly sweet on the front part of the palate. It's got a little red fruit in there. A lot of caramel. A little dab of like a vanilla. Not much though, just a little hint. There was a little red fruit vibe there. Kind of reminded me of strawberries. Let's lock in strawberries there. It's really oily on the mouth though, which is nice. It kind of going on theme with like that weird popcorn note I got on the nose. Almost like buttery on the palate, which is nice. Proof's definitely there. Like I know Tux was like, oh, he's gonna say he needs higher proof. I don't need higher. This is too much. Not too much. Like it's nice, it's cool to have, but there's no way I'm just gonna like be pounding that. You know what I mean? JC says a store near me is fixing to get a rare character pick 10 years, 7 months. What kind? Is it going to be a rye? Is it going to be a bourbon? Is it going to be a, well, like, what's it going to be? 10 years solid. I see a lot of them ranging like 7 year, 8 year. I have one of the 7 years, like 10 year and up, I hear are fairly good, but they're all different, right? All of these single barrels are going to be completely drastically different from the next. Because they're sourcing barrels from all over the place. They get some from, obviously, MGP, Indiana. They get some out of Kentucky. They get some out of Maryland. I can't remember what else. They get some from somewhere else. One of them, maybe it's this one? No, it's not that one. It's one of these back here that has like a rundown of like what they blended into these, because these are the ones that they're blending all types of shit in. Let's see. Okay, maybe not. Maybe it's on the website. I don't remember where I saw it then. Drew says, I've not been specifically looking for them, but we just might not get much rare character around Cincinnati. I don't believe I've seen anything but what I have. Most likely not. There's not like tons and tons of quantities. Like even that one, like the one I just pulled over, like it tells you how limited it is on there. There's like 2,600 bottles going nationwide, right? So the batches from the limited series is fairly limited. The single barrel series is going to be like if some place around you does that pick, which a lot more people have been doing it because they're making it a lot more accessible, and they're a little bit hyped up right now, right? So people are just kind of gravitating towards it. That, and you get to like do your own artwork, which I think is a pretty big selling point to a lot of people, because this is like their logo for this this bourbon group. The other one was what they do, like a horse race, like Kentucky Derby. Let me just scoot this over. You know what I mean? So cool artwork. There's some other ones that I've seen that are like insanely cool. These aren't like that high on my list. I like the wolf though. I thought that was cool. But yeah. I don't see them. I see them more often than I did this time last year. This time last year, it was like non-existent. Now, it feels like every store is doing like one or two every so often. JC says, yeah, I'm going to drop my local store pick label in the Discord. Yeah, do it. There's more people in there that know about it more than I do. Because apparently, like, the wax on the bottles means something. Somebody commented on one of the posts I did about this and said the 20L was super important. I don't know what it means, so I can't tell you. I don't claim to know everything. I will say, the more this kind of sits on my palate, fairly sweet. Really nice. Really nice. Let's see. He just dropped the label. That's pretty cool. He's got like a shark. Here, I'll just show you. See, like people get all types of crazy with the artwork. Single barrel, liquor galore. He didn't add the proof or nothing in there. You know, like, art's cool. Art's only like half of it, though. Let me get this. But anyways, let me know who all here has a couple rare characters or even one single barrel series. Let me know what your thoughts on it, because I'm like, I hear pros, I hear cons. A lot of people like them though. I think there's more pros than cons. I think the biggest con in any of these is going to be like price. You know what I mean? Like this one was like 120, 130, something like that. That was because this was like a half barrel and it was hazmat. So that in the 20-year age, almost 21-year age. So I didn't go there for this. I went there for something else and that was already gone. So I was like, let me just go ahead and just scoop this up. I will say I like this a lot. I don't like the. I wouldn't drink this and be like, yeah, that's American light whiskey. I couldn't tell the difference. This just tastes like a really good bourbon. Again, there's got to be something on with this. You know, the aging in the new charred oak. Because again, I looked up the rules just to quickly go through them. Like the first one that was blatantly everywhere was it has to be distilled above 160 proof, below 190 proof. That's where it's got to be distilled at. And then it has to be aged in a new or used uncharred oak barrel. But on here it says it was aged in new charred oak. You know what I mean? Threw me for a loop. I don't know what that means. So it's like, how is this American light whiskey? No clue. But that's what they said it is. So maybe there's something everybody else knows that I don't. Sir Hines says, what's up? Oh, what's up, baby? Welcome back. Drew says, the one I have manager at Kroger sold me on. She said it was a blend of a select barrels for the release and limited bottles. It was about 100. Yeah, it's about typical price for the single barrels. Some people do blends. Some people will do just straight up just one barrel. The limited series is like what rare characters, their people are selecting to blend and making it their best of the best. Supposedly. Word on the street. There was another goal. I couldn't hear. Oh man, it's bad. It's 6-1. Panthers are just dog water right now. Brutal. Yeah, that's good. Now the question is, like, would it make a good whiskey and Coke? Right? You guys like to watch me do really dumb shit sometimes. So that's what we're going to do. All right? It's the only proper way to test it. That, and I'm just curious. You know what I mean? Like, why not? Our local shop is huge into picks with them. Haven't tried yet. Yeah, there's 2 liquor stores that I know that do them fairly frequent around here. And it's like they drop one like every other month, which is cool, right? Definitely means I don't want to pick up everyone, but it's also why I picked this one up. Because I was like, that one seems to be different from everything else I've seen. If they're going to constantly release a bourbon or Kentucky straight bourbon, right, and it's going to be around 7 or 8 year age, like to me, that's probably around the same thing. Like, cool, I get it. It's a little bit different. But I can't find a pour. Whatever. Eyeballing it. Seems like enough. Seems like enough. So the yeah, the 20-year, almost 21-year age, the hazmat part, that's what sold me on it. I've never had an American light whiskey though. I've never been like intrigued enough to buy one, so I figured what a time to buy one than now, you know? I don't think I was going to pick up the Penelope one. I hear kind of pros and cons of it, but that might have been a little too much Coke. I am using Coke, 0 sugar. Another splash? No, we're good. I think I put too much. That's on me. That's on me. Unless you meant another splash of the liquor. I mean, we're already too far in, you know? I probably could use another splash of the alcohol. I definitely went too heavy on the Coke. I mean, there's a good amount of ice, but... All right. Let's see. Let's see. This is like one of those drinks where like you drink and you're gonna end up on the floor. You just don't feel the 140 proof coming up on you, you know? Normally you make it with like an 80 proof thing. Let's like double it and give it to the next drink. JC says another splash of whiskey, never too late. I did. I got you. Like it took me a second to figure out what you were talking about. I'm like, another splash of Coke. I was like, I feel like I put too much Coke, and I definitely did. Like it wouldn't have been horrible, but you know what I mean. 1-to-3 ratio Coke. What was the notes on the sip for the one you have? I missed it. So this one, the American Light Whiskey, it was different. Like on the nose, it was more like, I don't want to say buttered popcorn because it's not what I got on the nose, but it was like, you ever had like popcorn that like you get from the store that like that's in a bag, almost like the Smart popcorn, but not like cheesy. I don't know how to explain it, bro. It's like bagged popcorn. Ooh, like from Publix, a little bagged popcorn. If you know what I'm talking about, that's the note for sure. And then past that part, it was like very sweet, caramelly on the nose. On the palate, the first thing I got was like, oh shit, that's hot. Just so you know, burnt my lip. So, but then it moved into like more sweet up front, a little bit of like vanilla, like just like a dash, more caramel. There was more of like a red fruit, which I kind of settled. Kettle corn. That's what we're talking about, bro. Bro, I'm drawing blanks today, but kettle corn from Publix, that's the move. No butter, but it was very oily on the palate. So I was correlating a little bit of like buttered popcorn on the palate. But then also like the red fruit was like a strawberry. The finish was just hot. You know what I mean? There was definitely ethanol on both nose and palate. I really didn't do like I didn't warm up today, so I'm going to go back to it here in a minute. But I figured like, let's do like a Jack and Coke style thing and warm up the palate a little bit more. I don't know if it's because I'm talking about popcorn now, but now it's almost like Coke with popcorn. I feel like I'm at the movies. You know what I mean? This is like movies, right? You're sitting in theaters. You got your like overly priced big ass soda right here. You got your popcorn over here, and you're just kind of like doubling up. That was a weird movement. Pause. I'd say the bottle. It's a complex bottle. I was not expecting that much from an American Light Whiskey. I was expecting it to be like 2-3 notes tops and just kind of like tap out, right? I thought it was just going to be all heat, no flavor, right? It was what my impressions going in was going to be. Let me do this. Now I have a little pour next to it. JC says, sounds like my kind of non-rye. Also, LOL, opening your palate to a hazmat. Surprised you could taste anything. I did do like a small pour of the other rare character single barrel I had, right? And it was nice, but like I don't really care for this one too much, so I didn't like do like a sizable pour. I just kind of just did like a little taste. It's good. Like I just don't like how much cinnamon's on that other bottle. So Drew says, okay, the one I have is the exact opposite. It is on the spicy side, not sweet, no vanilla, etc. Just wondering how different the bottles are. Yeah, so this one is American Light Whiskey, right? So keep that in mind. I've never had one of these, so I can't tell you like, are they the same? This one is a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. This one is also, this is very sweet. This is like cinnamon, vanilla, caramel, like heavy, heavy cinnamon. Almost like baking spices on there as well. It's not like it has a decent rye mash bill, and it's got a little spice on the back end of the palate, but it's not. I wouldn't put that in the rye category. This JC, from like the stuff that I've learned about your palate over the years, I would say this would probably be a little bit more up your alley than the typical things I like. I will say like that first initial that sip is fairly sweet. So that part would probably turn you off, but then you'd like it the more it sat. It's almost like, I don't know if it's the proof or what it is, but like every time I kind of take a little sip, it almost like is like switching places where you kind of get the notes at. Yeah, the strawberry note, I would say that's pretty, I probably got that spot on. JC says, oh, by the way, I ordered a barrel pick of the Sagamore Rye 9.5-year, 110 proof. It was a collab of 2 YouTubers. Okay, cool. Sagamore Rye 9.5-year. I haven't really dove in too much of the Sagamore stuff, you know. I just had like the one pour at that bar that one time when I tried the double oaked. And then I had somebody else had like a sherry finish thing that I tried. I would say this bottle gets a pass for me. Pricey for sure, but I think it's a little bit different, a little bit more unique. So I'll say that's getting a pass. JC says, oh, and the rare character I talked about is 108.64 proof. That's a little low. It's a little low. And the only reason I say that is because most that I see are around the 115 to 120-ish mark. Like even like these are obviously they're special ones, for example. But both of these are fairly high. I have the Kentucky Straight Whiskey Batch 1 of 2025. This is 133. Yeah, 133 even for proof. Whatever. We'll get it over there eventually. And then the rye, I have the Straight Rye Whiskey Batch 1 for 2025. And it is 123.76 proof. Both cask strength. Where does it say? I could have swore they told me the rundown of what was in these. I don't know what I'm thinking of then. What bottle has that? Sir Hines says, don't know much about ryes. Always use them for old fashions. Did get a bottle of the Sazerac 125 proof. Yet to open it. Open it immediately. It's fantastic. It's literally like my second favorite rye. It's a magical bottle. The Sazerac Rye 125 proof. If you guys didn't see the New Year's Eve live stream, you guys missed out. It's a hell of a show. Hell of a show. It did win one of the awards. I think it was Giving the People What They Want award is what I called it. I thought it was a great price point. I thought it was a great proof point, and the availability of it, at least around here, has been fantastic. Like when I run out of a bottle, which this is my second bottle, it's almost gone. As you can tell, like it's This bottle gets drank. It has the same mash bill as the Thomas Handy, and I've never done it, so I'm not claiming to have done it. But like 2 other people, 1 person I know, and 2 people on YouTube have done a blind, and that one has beat Thomas Handy, supposedly. I wasn't there. I wasn't a judge. You know what I mean? But for it to beat anybody like that, that would be pretty cool. But price point, availability, Buffalo Trace style rye, it's fantastic. I also make some mean whiskey ginger. I'm out of ginger ale, or that's what I've been drinking when I started the show. But so that one's good. I have the 100 proof one. I like that one a lot for the ryes. Jack Daniel's single barrel proof ryes, obviously my number 1. Drew says, "Lucky, I have a couple bottles of the Sazerac Rise. Lucky I live close to the distillery, the 125. I figured. I heard recently, like a handful of times, they've been releasing the Antique 107 at the distillery, which is good for 2 reasons. One, people are getting it. It means quantity's up, but it also means secondary is going to dip a little bit on those. Should dip on those." So, yeah, no, the Sazerac Rye stuff, that's fantastic though. One of my favorites last year. If I wasn't just like absolutely in love with the Jack Daniels, that bottle could have that bottle could have won some awards for me. You never know. You never know. I think the proof on it's perfect though. Like it doesn't need to go any higher. Definitely better than the 100 proof. The biggest debate to me would be like, it's weird how they release everything, right? You had a 90 proofer for what felt like forever. Then you dropped a 100 proof and you dropped them in liters, which I like the size of the bottle. That was nice, right? And it was about the same price. And the 100 proof was a nice little bump, but it really wasn't like that much better. The difference between 100 proof and the 125, or 90 to 125, is like a massive jump. Did I get my hands on any unicorns over the holidays? No, I've been like trying not to buy alcohol. So I've been taking a break from a lot of stuff. I really haven't found anything. It's been kind of dry here. The unicorn season's really like from Thanksgiving to like a week before Christmas, and then it just drops. You know what I mean? Like the trucks stop coming, things stop flowing out here. I really haven't, like, I've been to a couple liquor stores taking little peeks, being real picky. Like if I found something crazy, obviously I'd pick it up, but no, I didn't find anything. This is my first pickup of the year. It's the only bottle I bought this year so far, except for I bought the white vodka. I did that, and I may have bought. No, I got that on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, I bought that Sazerac Rye, 125 proof, I think. And I did get a Jack for Christmas too. Sir Hines said, "Oh, I read that." Drew says, "I will pay $60 for that Antique 107 every day, all day at the distillery." Yeah, I mean, a great price at the distillery, right? That's what you want to pay. I just know that they don't always have it, and it definitely sells out fairly quick. But I thought it was cool that I've seen it multiple times now. Not me personally, but other people. Drew says, "Kroger has been my friend this year. I was able to get a Pappy 20 and a J.T. Stag at retail." Bro, I'm about to move up there, bro. What's happening? I don't get that around here. My buddy called me like a week or two ago, and he's like, I just found a J.T. Stag in the store. Do you want me to pick it up? I go, "How much is it?" He goes, $200. I go, $200? I go, "Yeah, go buy it." And he's like, "Just kidding. They wanted $1,200. I go, "Don't buy that shit." So Christian says, "What's up, Call Me Old Fashioned? I'm sick as a dog. I can't smell or taste shit right now. Just popping in to say what's up." Christian, what's up, baby? Happy New Year. It's still a little too late into the year to say Happy New Year, but I haven't seen you since, so glad to have you back. Happy Friday. You know what you should drink? A hot toddy. A little warm up, right? Get the what do they call it? Sinuses. Get the sinuses flowing, get you back to normal. JC may have said something. He just says LOJK, but I don't know what he said. That what he was saying to the proof from way back. Let me do this. Change it from top. There we go. Christian says it's actually a good idea. I'm going for it. Hell yeah, bro. I had one the other day. I thought it was fantastic. A little honey, some lemon, some bourbon. I think they used rye, but I didn't make it. Chase says, badass label on that bottle. Cheers, everyone. Chase, welcome back, baby. Happy Friday. It is a cool label. I like it a lot. I didn't design it, so I can't take credit, but nice little blue wolf. That's why I turned the lights blue today. You know, going on brand, on theme here. Sir Hines says, I might be behind the ball here, but I recently discovered Dragon's Milk. Both the small batch and the bonded are some of the best stuff I've had. I've never had it, actually, but there's a couple people in here that come in and always say, go get it. I haven't even seen it, though. Drew says, Kroger drops. You have to get there within a few minutes, but if you do, you can score big time. You're not wrong. There's been a handful of drops here, but the people around here, they take that shit so serious. There's people lining up like a week in advance for like a chance at possibly one bottle. And I don't have that kind of time. So, Horsepower in the chat says, Happy New Year's, brother. This is the first live I've been able to hop on this year. This is the first live this year. So you didn't miss anything. I took a couple week break. We did that New Year's stream, and I didn't even have a voice all of New Year's. I talked for what felt like 3 hours straight. That was probably the only stream where we didn't just sit there and constantly just chat back and forth. It was just constant content the entire time with awards, people coming on. It was a good show. If you missed that show, that's, go back and watch it. It's a good watch, I'd say. I did chat with the chat too, but just not as much as normal. Yeah, Texas grocery stores can't have a liquor license. Crazy. The North Carolina one threw me off. When I went into their liquor store, I was going for also champagne. They're like, we can't sell champagne here. It's only liquor. I go, the fuck? Go get my champagne. They also didn't have any liquor, like good stuff. I think the best bottle they had was Woodford's Double Oak. Yeah. Like I'd say like Florida's like parts of Florida are pretty rough for bourbon hunting and stuff like that, but it's not as rough as you think when you start going to some of these other states that really just like nothing is there. So, a little soda. All right, let's slide this over. We'll keep the bottle here, but let's bring over one of the other ones. Horsepower says, any particular bottles you're looking to grab this year? It doesn't necessarily have to be something crazy. Well, a handful of them are crazy that I'm looking for. Obviously, I'd love to get a Tenured Hill, Jack Daniel's Rye, the Still Austin second Tanger, whatever they're calling it, second edition. Same thing with like the Still Austin Blue Corn. That's pretty high on the list. Man, get champagne. It was for a wedding. I wasn't even drinking it. It was for the bride to shake up the bottle and spray it. But I was also like trying to like kill two birds with one stone and trying to get a bottle on the road. But those are definitely on the list. Era 12, still want to get one of those. I want to try to get a couple more Wellers this year. I'm not really big on like hunting Buffalo Trace, but there's a couple that I just want to get this year. Not on the like the super like hyped up. There's been a handful of the Woodford's Double Oak store picks that are barrel proof that have been floating around. They're not super high proof. They're like right under 100. But that I'm also like out. I have like a half a sip left in my Woodford's Double Oak, so I definitely want to get one of those. And then what's the other one? I can't, every time, this is why I never have it, or I never get it, because I can never remember. It's a budget bottle. Bro, I can't remember the name of it. Craft? Maybe something Craft? Bro, Cooper's Craft. Something like that. One of those. I can't remember what it is, but everybody keeps telling me to get it, so that one's been on the list. And there's a couple other things. You know what I mean? I'm more of like, I think this year I'll be a little bit more selective. I don't think I'm just going to buy as much whiskey as humanly possible, because one of the things I was doing kind of the back half of the year was drinking as much of my selection as I could, so I can make a little bit more room rather than just letting them sit on the shelf and die off. You know, I gave away a handful of my bottles to family, you know, just let people come over and drink the piss out of it. But you know, it's just one of those things where I do want to be a little bit more selective. That doesn't mean just like only get hyped up stuff, because I think that's not good for anybody. Cooper's Craft, yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, Cooper's Craft 100. Yeah, you guys, I knew as soon as I got close, you guys would start telling me. That's what I was looking for. Chase says, what ended up being your number one for 2025? Nah, you missed the live stream. You got to go watch it, bud. You ain't getting it like that. I spent 3 hours on a live stream. Go scan through it. That's funny. JC said, I'm definitely wanting to find a Crittenden's whiskey, Old Dominic, and the Detling. What is it? Oh, is it Dominic? No, it's not Dominic. Who makes it's JT Mellick, the rice whiskey. I want to get one of those too. That one's on the list. I had that in the sample from that kit, wherever the hell I got it. Where the fuck is that? Is it here? Oh, yeah. Blind Barrels. Blind Barrels sent a sample. One of them was a JT Mellick rice whiskey. Really good. Definitely want to get one of those this year too. Drew says, Kroger's, Costco, distilleries are pretty much the only options for getting things anywhere near retail around northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area. All the other stores are pretty much secondary pricing. Yeah, you know, most stores around here are secondary pricing. Somebody posted the other day, I think it was yesterday, maybe even today, saying you can go buy Blanton's Gold for like $220 if you buy a store pick. I go, so you tell me we got to pay secondary prices and buy another store pick? I mean, crazy. DG says, loves Cooper's Craft. Christian says, found those everywhere in Melbourne when I was there a couple years ago. They're here, but they're not like where I'm at for some reason. Have you ever heard of Corbin Cash? I've heard of it. I've not had it. JC says, you gave that whistle pig to your family member you don't like, didn't you? No. I almost did. I tried to. I did think he would like it, though. He didn't like it either. He tried it. He's like, I don't want that. I gave him a handful of good stuff. I gave him the early times. I gave him my Makers set that I've had for a while. I gave him my St. Augustine's. I gave him my Kirkland's, my 1792. I gave him a handful of stuff. He's been tearing through it. Everything that I gave him, though, he was like, this is really good. And I'm like, this is what good whiskey tastes like. It's just like I don't get around to drinking them. So he's in North Carolina, too, where there's like not much around him, though. Sir Hines says, currently hiding about 12 cases filled with random bottles of whiskey from my wife. She noticed a couple waiting for the big reveal when she goes into the storage closets. Bro, when my wife came in here, she's like, you kind of have a lot. And I go, I do. And she goes, why are you so picky then? Like when it's time to make a cocktail? Because when I like make a cocktail, I usually just make it with Jack, right? Jack, The Sazerac's been on there. The Wild Turkey 101's been a go-to. And she's like, why don't you ever drink with the other stuff? I go, nah, that's not, I don't drink it for cocktails. And she's like, if you're not doing that, then you're not drinking it. And I'm like, touche. JC says, JT Mellick Basic Shelfer 118 High Proof is fantastic. So sweet. I haven't had that one, just the rice whiskey. Chase says, brutally honest bourbon patron dropping 2 Crit 10 barrels in the next week or 2. Texas distribution. Don't know what that is, though. Drew says, Sir Hines. Oh my God, I don't have to read that. Horsepower says, thankfully, a few of my go-to stores here in New Jersey do a lot of raffles through the year and sell a lot of allocated stuff at MSRP if you win. The only place around here that does steadily make sure that any of their secondary stuff or their allocated stuff is going at MSRP is the Bourbon Barn. And that's in Gainesville. It's just a little too far for me to go constantly. But they do raffles. They do like bourbon drops where you buy a store pick and you can buy whatever you want at MSRP. And that's fun. People camp out for that stuff. It was a good time when I went, but I see people going all the time. For the stores around here, like directly by me, there's one that's a first come first serve, which is nice. But you know they got to be texting their buddies first. And the other stores are like more point system, and I like the point system, but I'm not the biggest fan. So there are pros and cons. When I have a lot of points, I love it. When I don't have any points, I'm like, this is stupid. So Drew says, I'm hoping 2026 brings a lot better availability and pricing. I know it's a pipe dream, but. So that's the one thing that, like, if you look across the board, what is the most type of viewed videos? What is the type of stuff you see in the Discords? You hear feedback from a lot of people. What people really want is good whiskey at an affordable price. A lot of people don't care about, like, oh, is it 20-year age hazmat, for example, right? That's not what they're looking for. They're like, hey, can I get something that's really good at like a decent price? A lot of people want to see it under $75. I think that's going to be tough to see a lot of. But I do think, like, where Sazerac Rye 125 proof came out and like really punched the market in the face, saying, hey, I can drop a good bottle and I can do it under 50. That kind of set a little ripple through the nation, saying, hey, they can do it. Why can't y'all? So I'll be pumped to see if any decently priced bottles come out in 2026, because that's also like how to get me buy a bottle when I don't want to is it be a really good price. You know what I mean? Be decently aged, decently proved, decently priced. That's all anybody really wants. JC says, call me old fashioned. The JT Mellick is 100% rice whiskey. That's all they make. Well, see, that's the one I like. I didn't know that. High Top Sports NASCAR says, let's go. Where are we going? Oh, that was for Texas, right, guy? Oh, gotcha. Bro, for a second, I was like, what the fuck am I drinking? I thought it was the HAZMAT still, but the Kentucky Straight's pretty close to that as well. Let's kick a little B-roll action while we have it. This one is really good, though. I think I like the rye the best, just out of them. No, you didn't. Shut up. He said, found Eagle Rare 17 for $170. Is that a good price, or did I overpay? I think that's an amazing price. You know what? You overpaid. I'll go ahead and I'll buy it from you from $175. So you can make $5 and you didn't lose. So I'll just take the hit. Chase says, I've been getting into scotch recently. Don't know what's going on. I don't know if that's a you problem or if you're liking it, but I can't recommend you scotch because I have yet to find one I actually like. Drew says, I have 150 plus bottles. I refuse to pay secondary prices. Never will. They're simply too much good bourbon out there to pay secondary. I'm like that, like 80% of the time. I don't like spending over $100. I do it what feels like way too often. I try not to buy secondary because part of the fun of finding it is finding it MSRP. You know what I mean? Like anybody can find a bottle, you know, if they pay 6 times what it's normally supposed to be. You know what I mean? You can go on unicorn auctions, get anything you want at, you know, 3 times MSRP at least. So I think part of the fun's finding it the right price. But lately I've been saying, like, I have enough whiskey in here anyway. Like, I'm not going to die if I don't get that bottle. The only time I buy anything, like, for higher than I should pay price is if I want it strictly for the channel. Like, if I'm going to use it to, like, review or talk about or whatever. So. But 150 bottles, that's still quite a bit. I think we're at 120-ish, 125, somewhere around that now. And I gave away, like, a shit ton and drank a shit ton last year. We did recently finish off the Still Austin Cask Strength Rye, so you'll see that missing from the shelf. What else was gone? The Sazerac Rye 100 proof has a little bit. So. JC's just out here throwing jabs at Jack Daniels. What'd they do to you? They just caught a stray for no reason. He says, Chase, gotta be honest, tried Johnny Blue. Tastes are unique and nice. Not my favorite, but I like it more than Jack number 7. I don't know about that, but I get what you mean. He says, yeah, I very rarely spend over $100. There are hundreds of fantastic bottles under that price. There is. Sometimes harder to find. But what it feels like every time a new bottle comes out, it almost feels like it's priced at 100 plus. And it's like, it's always the ones that you don't know what the price is until you get there. You're like, oh, I came here for that. Chad John says, well, how the hell are y'all this evening, gentlemen? I think we're doing pretty good. We got a little little hazmat rare character sipping on. We got the limited release we're sipping on. We're kind of just hanging out, having a little Friday live stream, hanging out with the boys. Sipping on Russell's 2025 release. It's a good one. I could go for that next. We've been on a high proof train tonight though, but that one's up there. Oh, that was somebody posted in the Discord. That's what I was looking at. Small batch. JC says, also another quick question for you all. Does the cheap red wine your significant other drinks taste like expired fruit juice? Sometimes. I wouldn't say like expired fruit juice, but like, what'd she drink? You got like that barefoot, like strawberry. She drinks the shit out of that. That one's just, that's like a juicy juice on steroids. So. Do you drink? My wife likes some of the expensive stuff too, like the St. Augustine Sweet Red. That one's fantastic, but that one's super sweet. MSRP on it's $145 for the. I don't even know what MSRP is on the BTEC lineup. So. Christian says, JC, you can't compare an $180 bottle to an $18 bottle. That Chad says, have you been able to? Been able to what? Have I been able to find Michter's Toasted Rye yet? No, I don't think so. No, I think I don't know. Is that the 86 proof one? Because there's a bunch of it up at the store. I haven't bought it though, because I love Michter's, but I don't really care for anything under like 90 proof. Like under 90 proof, I'm like, what are we drinking? You know what I mean? I'm sure it's good, but like, I don't want to spend $50 on something that's under 90 proof. You know what I mean? I just don't. That might be like too much of a proof snob, but JC says, call me old fashioned. MSRP for BTEX, 140 to 210 across the line. Damn. I never even bothered to look it up because I was like, there's no way I find it at that. And if I do find it under like 200, I would buy it anyway. Sir Hines said, did you try any of the new Penelope premix old fashions? Thought this apple cinnamon and the black walnut were awesome. I have never found the apple cinnamon, but they also didn't release that in Florida for whatever random reason. I have both the other ones. I have the, where are they? Where are they? Oh, I put them back here. I have the black walnut. I have the peach. Don't like the peach. It's drinkable, just not my vibe. Not my vibe. I don't like peach though. I'm not a big peach guy. The black walnut, I love that bottle. The only issue with it is, like, again, back to the proof snob thing. It's just super sweet, not enough proof. So what I tend to do is I'll add like an ounce of the barrel proof Penelope into it, and it's perfect. So I like that one a lot though. But I also like the vanilla demerara syrup. I like the black walnut bitters. Like it's well made for sure. Decent price. Horsepower says BTEC MSRP is pretty much irrelevant because it's borderline impossible to get anywhere near that. That's what I mean. That's why I've never even bothered to like really look them up, just because like if you can find them that low, you're gonna buy them anyway. And if you don't, it's like what I told you earlier. The George Cheese Stag Up the Road is going for $1,200. So to each his own. Not me. I'm not spending $1,200 on a bottle. Unless like somebody gives me the $1,200 to do it. Any premix old fashions you highly recommend? Yeah, the Thomas or the Handy and Scheller, I think that's what it's called. The Buffalo Trace one. The Buffalo Trace premix old fashioned. It's pricey. It's like 35, 40-ish bucks, I think. Really good. That one's the best one I've ever had for sure. It's not like overly sweet or anything like that. I think the proof is okay. That one's definitely the best. If I had to go from there, I'm going either Bullet, just regular Bullet, if you just want to like a good budget one, or even that Penelope Black Walnut. Like those three are up there. I've had a bunch. I have the 1792 one. That one's a hit or miss. I have the Mission one. That one's dog water. The Bullet, I have that one's good. I don't care for the Bullet Manhattan though. That one's just not enough. Chase says, wonder why Buffalo Trace keeps their BTEC so low compared to what retail stores have been selling them for years. I think part of it's like it's their own marketing. Buffalo Trace is the best bourbon or whiskey brand in general when it comes to marketing. They know if they slowly release it, they don't have to jack the price up because it's going to sell out regardless, which is also going to help them sell out of everything else because people just run to Buffalo Trace. Part of why I haven't been really hunting Buffalo Trace products because, like, I get what they're doing. Hats off to them, but you know what I mean? Like, I just kind of gravitate towards other stuff. Christian says, this week I tried the maple syrup in an old fashioned. I'm never going back. Is this your first time? First time with the maple? Bro, what do I have? I have this. You guys know I don't even like Whistle Pig like that, but Whistle Pig Signature Maple Cocktail Syrup. It's just basically maple syrup with like orange zest in it, and it's pretty good. If you want to make like a maple style old fashioned, made with the rye is money. Yeah, JC's got it. That's what I was referring to. Says I have some backups at 150 though. Okay. Horsepower says my go-to for old fashions is OGD 114. So good. That's a good bottle for an old fashioned too, and it's the OGD 114 in general is a good bottle. Good for old fashioned, so especially on the budget lineup. You are a man of exquisite taste. That's awesome. The Knob Creek Old Fashions suck. I've never even bought them because I've looked at them. I just don't care for Knob Creek like that, so I don't think I would like it. The ones I do want to try, I want to try I've seen some High West ones. Um, I don't know if they'll be good, but I want to try them. So Drew said, Chad, I will find at Russell's 13 this year, one way or another. Let's drink that. Let's drink a little Russell's 15. The rare character's been fun, but let's switch it up, you know? Ooh. Bang, da, bang, da, bang, da, bang, boogie, da, da, boom. Chad says Antique 107 or Stag Junior are the most expensive Buffalo Trace bourbons I will pay for. Both are fantastic, so I mean, nothing wrong with that. I just meant like if I ever came across like an Eagle Rare 17, like I'm buying it. The William you know what I'm talking about, the Weller. I'd buy that one. And George C. Stagg like would have to like as much as like I'm sure that's great. I want the other two before I want that one, so a little bit less on that one for me. JC says, everyone says the best bottom shelfer is Turkey 101, but I think OGD has it beat hands down. I don't know. That's a tough one. I think OGD is a little bit more versatile, where Wild Turkey is just good in everything. Hines says, has anyone used the non-alcoholic old-fashioned premix for their drinks? Just picked up. You picked up the Bucky Badger old-fashioned mix here from Wisconsin. I've never had that, so I don't know what that is. What the heck? Weird, it almost doesn't look focused. There we go. Liz says, cheers, boys. Cheers. Chad says, the Russell's single Rick series are so hard for me to find in Mississippi. Still want the CNE. I mean, I think they're hard for anybody to find, to be honest. Like I don't think I've seen but maybe one or two in the entire time I've been doing bourbon content. Gerald says, have you tried the EH Sailor Barrel? EH Taylor Barrel Proof Batch 14 and 15. Thoughts on them if you have them. I do have one. I have the EH Taylor Barrel Proof. I don't know what batch it is. Apparently, everybody keeps telling me I'm wrong, but I have the one that's 127.2 proof. It's fantastic. One of every time I like talk about it, I'm like, ooh, I want to drink that. We're drinking the Russells now. I could drink that one next for sure. But it's fantastic. It's everything you want in a barrel proof EH Taylor. If you like EH Taylor small batch, you'll love that one. As long as you like proof, you know what I mean. So it's fantastic. Somebody got that for me as a gift, so I didn't pay for it. That kind of helps. I know they paid a little bit into the secondary. Thanks to them. But at first, I probably wouldn't have bought one, just because like a little too pricey. Now that I've had it, it's money. I think I'll take that over the Stag for sure. I like Stag a lot. That's batch 14. See, I have that one. I kept saying 14, but everybody kept telling me it wasn't. So what do I know? Horsepower says, what's everybody's thoughts on the old Ezra 7? I recently got a bottle as a gift, but I haven't opened it yet. I haven't had that one. I actually saw it the other day, and I was like, that looks interesting. Maybe I'll pick that up. And I said, nah, let me leave this store. Chad says, the 2025 release is way different than the rest of the releases. I like the sweetness and more on the heavy oak presence. Really? It is very sweet. It's definitely got a decent amount of oak. But it is like punch you in the face, red fruits, which was like a cherry, which was really nice. Drew's like drinking Antique set 107 right now. Has to be one of my favorite bottles. Always keep a few bottles. Love it. I yet to have one. I've had it. I've had a pour, but I can't find a bottle to buy. I can buy it online, sure, which would be fine, but part of me wants to find one. Heard good things about this year's 14. The batch proof is fantastic. The barrel proof, I mean, not batch proof. The Russia's 13 is also another fantastic bottle. I watched a video from Southern Spirits, I think it was, and they do that like wall raffle. You guys have to know who they are if I'm talking about them. And somebody picked Russell's 13 over like a lot of other crazy good stuff, and I was like, I would never have done that. The Russell's 13 is great. It's very much more on the sweeter side. I like the proof. Obviously, it's the highest proof they've ever released, but like I wouldn't have picked it over a handful of things. Jay says the worst E.H. Taylor barrel proof is better than the best Stag Junior batches, in my opinion. I wouldn't put them that far apart, but I get where you're going with it. I definitely think this bottle in particular is better than my Stag. I'm out of it, but the one I just killed off. I wish I would have saved like a very small portion so I could do like a blind. It's a little too late, but we'll get another Stag this year probably. Gerald says, quick question for a friend who wants to trade me a Russell's 13 for my Elmer and a Fortaleza Blanco. I think I should do it. I don't know. I don't really care for tequila, so I can't really speak on that part. Elmer T. Lee. If it was Russell's 13 for Elmer T. Lee, I would do that. I don't know what the value is on that Fortaleza, so I can't really speak on that. If you've never had a Russell's 13, maybe. The Russell's 13 is fantastic. So it's just how much do you like the other stuff, you know? Chase says, I vote no on that, Geraldo. He's only in on him for MSRP, which isn't bad. MSRP on the... Well, okay, Geraldo, let me paint you a picture of how I got this Russell's 13 real quick. Because I might not be the right person. I don't have the stain of what I would have had to pay for it. So I went into Publix, and I went in early. So, and you could tell this lady she was new. She didn't know what was on the shelves for sure, right? So I was talking with her, and I go, "Oh, there's a Russell's 13." She goes, "Yeah, we just got it. Somebody else just came in and bought them, so that was the last one." I go, "All right, let me get it." And she rang it up, and it was like under $50. It was almost like it rang up like a Russell's 10. And I was like, oh shit. I quickly just pulled out my card, hit the little tap, gave him my receipt, and I left. Because MSRP is like $250. And MSRP on that is high, you know. And I get that. But Publix lady messed up. She gave me the homie hookup without even knowing about it. And I appreciate her. She still works there, so she didn't lose her job, so we can talk about it. I don't know if she ever even knows. She could be watching right now, you know? Who knows? But yeah, I mean, I got a steal of a deal. So, like, I don't have, like, the, ooh, I paid too much for it taste. I'm like, I got a hell of a deal. So, take that with how I answer things on that bottle. Horsepower says, I have a Stag I haven't opened yet because I heard mixed reviews on it. It's batch 24A. Which one did I have? Hold on, let me grab it. I have the bottle still. Did I just hit that thing? The Stag I had is 24C, and it was really good. So, 24C, Stag, blah, blah, blah. It's empty. I wish it was full. Then we'd be talking. Joker in the chat says, hello, chat. Wow, long time no see. It's been a while. Hope all is well. I hope your family's doing awesome. Been watching the fire content. Keep pumping them out. Joker, you have been MIA. I haven't seen you all year, bud. No? Nobody? Do we have it? Did it? I don't know if I have that. I don't have the button. Oh, wait. Do I? Yeah, with soundboard action. Appreciate you coming back. Happy Friday. JC says Russell's 13 MSRP is like 150. If you got it, 150. I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure it's at least 2. Joker says Woodford's Double Oak is at my Costco under 50 right now. Anytime it's under 50, it's a good price. Amazing how your single barrel proof E.H. Taylor last year was $250 and now it's $400. Not worth that in my opinion to me. I didn't pay it. This was a gift, so I don't know what the price is. Draw says, what a win. It was a steal. Steal of a deal. Hines says I paid $80 for my E.H. Taylor barrel proof this year. That sounds like MSRP. Drew says, love Russell's 10 and the single barrels. I haven't seen a 13 or Rick House around here at any price other than store drops I've missed. Russell's 10 is a fantastic bottle. Typically, I keep that on the shelf. Single barrels, bro, underrated single barrels. Probably one of my favorite single barrels that I've ever picked up. I'm out of it now, but that's just because like I haven't found like a store that I like trust that picks them. So Codfish says live stream is great, making my commute home from work way better. Bro, he's in the mountains somewhere too. Picked up American single malt on my way home. Okay. The how far is your drive? Why are you getting off work at like 10 o'clock on a Friday? There's so many questions I have for him at this point, but he's driving, so I'm not going to ask them. Geraldo says my public sold me 4 E.H. Taylor barrel proofs. 2 were the 127.4, and the other 2 were the 127.2. They had 2 cases. The one I have is the 127.2, and I think it's fantastic. Now, I didn't know at the time there was one that had like 0.2 higher proof points. Not that like that makes that big of a difference, but now I want that one more, right? It's almost like I want what I can't have, right? Because I'm not going to find that now. Amo says, ironically, on my way home from work from some overtime. Dang, everybody's getting off work? Damn, now I look lazy. I'm just sitting here drinking. Well, you guys drive safe. Don't be doing nothing crazy on my account. Chad said I pay $270 at the door for my Russell's 13. A bit much, but I would never find it that cheap again. The Russell stuff is just going to keep going up. The profiles are totally different. See, that's what I mean. Like, now I got to have the other one so I could test and compare. You know what I mean? This one's fantastic, though. I think the proof on it's fantastic. I think it's fairly sweet, though. But it has this really nice, like, dark cherry note that is typical when it comes to Buffalo Trace, especially in Stags, is where I picked it up originally. But it's a really fantastic bottle. Like, again, like if you go back and you kind of shuffle through the Buffalo Trace lineup, they make great products in general. They typically lean sweeter. They all usually have either like a grape or like a cherry note, and the cherry note I usually call like an old-fashioned style cherry. But I think this one, proof-wise, flavor-wise, just everything is just fantastic. The only complaint I have about this bottle is I don't like how they did the labeling on it green, because I thought it was a rye. That's why we got it. My buddy called me. He's like, hey, they got an E.H. Taylor green. I go, green? He goes, yeah, it's green barrel proof. I go, oh, it must be the green rye barrel proof. I was like, you got to get it. And he was like, heck yeah, I bought it. And then I didn't realize that that's just what their barrel proof was. That's a me issue, but still, like, E.H. Taylor you could have made it orange. You could have made it red for all I give a shit. You know what I mean? Not green. Green's for rye. My rant's over. Drew says, I have so many E.H. Taylor small batches and only one single barrel. I need to get me a barrel proof, though. I mean, the barrel proofs are great. I've only tried the single barrels, and I wasn't like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't like, ew, that's bad. Like, it was good. It didn't blow my socks off, though. I like the small batches. I like Eagle Rare more than I like E.H. Taylor small batch. So, for me, like, that lineup goes, like, probably number one is going to be this E.H. Taylor barrel proof, then Stag, then Eagle Rare. And you can swap the Eagle Rare and the Stag any given day, just depending on how much I'm wanting proof that day, you know. Then below that's going to be E.H. Taylor, then Weller, then Bland's. Like, I've done it in blinds. People are like, no, Bland's is higher. No, Bland's is not higher. Bland's is definitely like right above Buffalo Trace. It's not bad. None of them are bad. Besides Travelers. Travelers is bad. Should ask for 10 more if they had them. Well, I didn't know he was actually going to get it. It was a gift. When he told me the price or something like that, and I was like, nah, it seems a bit high. Don't do that. And he's like, no. I was like, I don't think you'll like it, because he was asking if he should buy it. And I was like, you don't like proof. You're 100 and under type of person. You don't want a barrel proof. Go save your money. Go buy something else. And then he bought it and came over and he's like, here you go. It was for my birthday. You guys all missed it, so I don't know what to tell you. Most confusing label in bourbon is the Buffalo Trace Kosher Rye Recipe bourbon. Really? I've never seen one, but I hear they're pretty good. Facts. Travelers is cheeks. I went to the store earlier today, yesterday, and the day before because they released the Travelers Full Proof. And I was one of the first ones to do the video on the Travelers. I wanted to be the first one to do the Travelers Full Proof. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. But I also feel like if I talk that much shit about Travelers, like I should give them a fair shot at the Full Proof, because I feel like it's got to be better. But I also was like, I could clap the cheeks right back up. You know what I mean? Like if it's still shit, I'm okay with buying that for the review, so everybody else can know if it's shit or not. I only have the Stag 25C and a store pick. Not sure what the 24A tastes like. I have the 24C, so who knows? Okay, Juan's in the Discord, not in the live stream, so whatever, bud. But I'm responding to him because, you know, just like to, if you guys aren't in the Discord, probably should join that. He sent me a picture saying small batch 1972 is what he's drinking. I'm like, cool. I was like, I know you got better stuff, and he's like, I need to kill these bottles, and he sends me his lineup. He got the Weller 12, Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit, a Stag 24C, and a Springbank Cast Strength 12-year, which is going to be Scotch. He said, I want to be a little humble. Drew says, I only have, I read that. Hines says, most celebrity whiskeys are crap. I didn't like the Rebel Kyle Busch last year, though. You did like it? I did not like it. I wanted to buy one. My buddy's like big into NASCAR, so I was like, cool. Maybe I'll get it and we can talk about it. But they were doing samples. Now, maybe it was because it was out of a plastic cup, whatever. But it was just straight ethanol. Ethanol and sweetness, that was it. It was like nothing else to it, and I didn't care for it. A lot of people like Rebel. I'm not a big Rebel fan in general, so I'm good to pass on that. But the celebrity whiskeys usually are shit. But I also, like, when it came out, I was like, how do you have a song named Tennessee Whiskey and gonna drop this half as Canadian whiskey style whiskey, and put Buffalo. It just felt like a money grab. You know, you put Buffalo Trace, put Chris Stapleton's name on it, and then you just, you know what I mean? I expected more. Now, I did say a couple good things about it. That's why Buffalo Trace actually sent me one. They sent me they sent me a Travelers. I haven't even opened it. Obviously, I have a different one. Signed by Harlan Wheatley. Did my camera die? Oh, my camera must have died. Hold on. Hold up. Swap the batteries out real quick. There we go. Yeah, so signed by Harlan Wheatley. I thought that was cool. I thought it was a cool gesture because they were like, "Hey, like you're like the only one that said anything good," and all I said is like these, you know, bourbon fanatics and people that are really hardcore into whiskey, like they're grabbing Travelers thinking it's for them, and it's not for them. What it was is to get more people into the brand Buffalo Trace, like people that aren't into whiskey, people that don't care for every flavor note, but wanted like a cool bottle for the shelf. And I was like, it did its job for that. You know what I mean? So hats off to them for that. But yeah, besides that, just ass. Christian says, kosher rye says rye recipe in big letters, but then it says Kentucky straight bourbon in tiny letters at the bottom. That's brutal. Chad John says, Stapleton can never put his name on another bottle of whiskey after Travelers. Well, they just released Travelers Full Proof, so he already did it. But it is Travelers. Christian says, bro, I love the Rebel Reserve small batch. It's basically a young old Fitz at 110 proof. I'm glad you like it. I don't see that though. But maybe I'll try it again one day. Bourbon Lover says, about to fix an old-fashioned cocktail. Hell yeah. With what, though? Don't come in and just tease me like that. I need to know what you're making. Like, what kind of old-fashioned? We doing rye? We doing bourbon? Are we doing cube sugar, simple syrup? I need the whole rundown. You know what I mean? Gerald says, Penelope Valencia in an old-fashioned is next level. No. You guys think I agree with everything you guys say. I don't. I do not like the Valencia. I own it. I'm sure, like, to somebody else. I'm sure it's great in an old-fashioned. Not me. It's probably my least liked bottle from Penelope. But I'm not a big, like, peachy type of guy in general. So, Penelope Architect in old-fashioned? Money. Toasted or the barrel proof? Money. I haven't done the creme brulee in an old-fashioned. I don't think I probably ever will, but it's good in general. Sir Hines says, you ever make your own clear ice? Sir Hines, it's almost like you don't watch the channel, you know? I have a whole video of how I make my clear ice. Now, I will say, if you've watched the entire live stream, you've seen me pick up, you know, like the refrigerator ice, like this, you know what I mean? The fridge ice, and that's because I'm lazy. Making clear ice is a pain in the ass, and I haven't been making old fashions as much as I used to. But yes, if I do, I use the cooler method. There's a whole video on it. Just go watch it. It's like 10 minutes long, but it shows you exactly how to do it. It's pretty fun though. Like making it was fun. It was like an adventure, but it is work. Some people will go buy the expensive stuff to go do it. I don't believe in that, but what should we drink now? There's somebody else mentioned something that I wanted to sip on. Drew says, can't help it. Call me a tater. I love my Buffalo Trace. I live close enough to get standard allocated bottles at retail though. I mean, there's a difference between like a tater and people that like Buffalo Trace in my opinion. I like Buffalo Trace, normal Buffalo Trace. I like Eagle Rare. I like some E.H. Taylor. I'm not beating down the door for every Blanton's. I don't really care for Blanton's at all. So I think like that eliminates a little bit of it. So it just depends on how aggressive you are with it. Sir Hines says, I've been out of loop. Sorry, bud. It's all good. I made that video like last year. But yeah, I make my own. I do the cooler method where freezes top down. You know what I mean? Like just There's a lot to it, but I make it, and it only cost me $10. $10 once. He says you're not doing it right. I'm probably not. Come make me an old fashioned then. I'll drink it, I promise. Chris says, do you like Green River? You get a lot of peach in their stuff. No. The Green, I guess I only have, where's my Green River? I have Green River Full Proof, but what I get a lot on there is Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies. It's got mint, it's got chocolate, it's sweet, it's decently proofed at like 111, I think. Money stuff, but I don't get peach at all. I'm doing simple syrup, little Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye. Talk to me. Orange peel, premium cherry, and a little smoked over ice cube. See, and it's almost like he read my mind. He's like, let me talk a little dirty. That's a money old fashioned right there. No bitters? No bitters? Now I'm being picky. Codfish says, got to try Sazerac cocktail. It's like an old fashioned, but with different bitters and absinthe. It's on the bottle here, right? And I see it all the time, and I'm always like, I should do that. And I always like forget to look for these, like, I can't even pronounce it, like Peychaud bitters, Herbstain. I don't even know what that is. Herbstain, lemon peel, 1 cube sugar. It sounds good. It sounds like a different version of an old fashioned, which I think I'd like. But I almost like would prefer to go to like a really high-end cocktail bar and just order one from them. Like, that sounds stupid. Probably cost me more money than going to find it. But I feel like I just would be okay with it, you know? Bourbon Lover says, forgot to mention the bitters also. Have you had the Little Book Infinite 2? No. The only Little Book I have is, what is it, chapter 9? Yeah, I have chapter 9, None for Granted. I like it. It's not the best bottle in the world, but it's really good. It's like I call that bottle like a really good basic bottle. Like, it does a few notes really, really well. Like, better than most. With like the caramel, the vanilla, the cinnamon, and like proof. But beyond that, it's not like super complex, which was just like a letdown for me. But beyond that, like when you stop being like super picky, like it's a solid pour. I literally cannot remember for the life of me what I was going to drink. It was something. And it was probably going to be good, and I can't even remember. I did the Russell's 13. I'm like trying to scan through the past comments. I have still yet to open the Bookers I have. I need to quit letting them sit there. You know, I couldn't. You know what sucks is like I don't think I could ever relate to letting it sit there. But I think that's a lot to do with how I do the channel. Like, I buy a bottle, and within the same week, I'm opening it on the stream. So like that's kind of part of it for me, you know. It's also a reason for me to buy the bottle, open it, try new things. So pros and cons of it. But there's not a single bottle in here besides that Travelers that is unopened. Tron Jones says, love the show. Hello from Texas. Shout out Texas. What part of Texas? Everybody in here is from Texas at this point. That's what it feels like. But Tron, welcome to the show. Happy Friday. Glad to have you. I'm drawing blanks at this point, boys. What was I gonna drink? Do you remember? Remember? You know, this bottle impressed me. So last year, I'll just a quick story time. So me and the wife, right? Well, all the time. When we're watching sports, football, doesn't matter what it is, I'll go sit on the couch. I'm just relaxing. And if I want to pour of anything, I'll tell her like to go into the room. Jesus Christ. I'll tell her to come in this room, grab any bottle off any shelf, pour it in a Glen and blind it. That way I can do a couple things. One, it's almost like training, right? I'm out there being Rocky in the living room. But no, I'm like guessing the notes, I'm guessing the age, I'm guessing the proof, and I'm trying to guess what bottle it is as well. And every time this bottle throws me for a loop. But what I mean by that is like, I think it's almost everything else. Like, you know, sometimes I'm a little buzzed, right, when we're doing it. So my guesses aren't always 100%. But one time I thought this was Russell's 15. I'm not saying it tastes anything like it, but there's a couple, like the red fruit note in there reminded me a lot of Russell's 15. I thought it was Buffalo Trace stuff one time. Like it's, like I just think it drinks higher. Like it's undervalued, slept on, whatever people want to call it. This one is A124. It's 124.2 proof, barrel proof, larceny. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Sir Ryan says, any Ben Holiday experience? Picked up the Rick House original soft red wheat this week. All of them are pretty good. Yes, I have a problem. It doesn't sound like a problem to me. I love Ben Holiday. I have the soft red wheat. I have multiple of those. We use those to decorate the house around Christmas because it has a little red truck. So I've had the Rick House proof. I have a sample of it down there somewhere, but I don't own that bottle currently. But it is also really good. So fantastic stuff. Tron says, Dallas, sipping on my first double oak per your recommendation months ago. Which double oak? Are we doing Woodford's double right now? We do a little Woodford's double oak? Just, if he answers yes, we'll pour up my last little bit of Woodford's double oak. Just to sip it with him, you know? Hold on, let me rinse my fucking Glen. I ran out of Glens at this point, boys. Woodford double. It's no way like he's drinking a recommendation for a double oak other than Woodford's from me, right? I mean, he could have picked up Barrel or Peerless. Maybe Jim Beam, but like, it's got to be this, right? So I'm just going to jump ahead. He hasn't commented back, but we'll kill the bottle with him. Dallas is not that far from the part of Texas that I used to hang around in. Noble Oak double oak bourbon. I don't know if you got that recommendation from me. I don't own Noble Oak. I've had Noble Oak. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I just poured my last double oak. You should have just lied to me. We're gonna drink it with you anyway, bud. I've had it. It's not my favorite. Woodford Double blows that one out of the water, but yeah, I would probably take Barrel over that one. There's a handful I'd take over Noble Oak. It's not bad, and by any means, it's still a good double oak, but it's yeah, not my favorite. Peerless double oak is fire for sure. Peerless double oak is definitely up there for double oaks for me now. Unfortunately, like Woodford's has been like my go-to for years. Once I tried Peerless, I was like, did we do the mod of the year for 2025? Joker, we did. Just from you not showing up, I can already tell you didn't even win, bud. If you go, you have to go rewatch the entire New Year's Eve live stream, guys. I put in work on that live stream, just so you guys know. I get lazy on other live streams, but the New Year's live stream, I'll put in work. I did transitions. I had Richard Seacrest on. I had special guests on. Right, I did 6 or 7 different awards. I went over my entire collection. I put in work. You guys may not have liked it, and that's okay. But I put in work on that live stream. And it was like 2-3 hours. 2-3 hours of not hangout, just like straight working. When I got done, I lost my voice. Like, I was a little beat up. Tron says, you just told me to try the double oak Tried double oak months ago. I did. I definitely did that. It's mid as fuck. We'll try Woodford's next. Now I feel bad. I pushed it. Didn't say Woodford's. I do think like, especially if that's your first double oak, like good stepping stone for sure, right? Definitely could have got a better one, and that's okay. But a double oak is like my go-to, like not on stream. On stream we talk about everything. Off stream I grab double oaks all the time. Not for cocktails though, just to sip on, or an old fashioned because I get a little dangerous. The Woodford's is now gone. Somebody owes me a bottle of Woodford's. Joker says, I was hung over and watching Stranger Things. LOL, I guess I didn't win. You didn't win. No, Joker. You came close, though. I think you were final, too. Sorry. You were close. Oh, shit. I just waked the kid up. Woodford Sweet Oak was fire. See, I want to try that one. And the very rare and the rye. There's a bunch of them. Man, but those Master Collection bottle versions are just super expensive. And as much as I like love Woodford's, it's hard for me to pull the trigger on those. Do not go from Antique 107 to Elijah Craig Barrel Proof 126.3. Both are great, but not a good transition. Why? I'm just having, like, is there a reason why? Because I feel like that might be a decent transition, but what do I know? Christian says, Noble Oak is just sherry finished MGP. Not bad at all, but it's $30. It tastes like it. Ooh. It's really sherry finished? I didn't know that. Guys, you're just now tuning in. Drop a like on the stream. Subscribe if you are new. We are on the road to 10,000 this year. That's the goal. A little 10,000, maybe 50, maybe 100,000, but you know, in increments. Just kidding, not 100. We'll be lucky if we hit 10. Just it, and it's completely different taste profiles. Okay, that's I don't know. I guess I've never done that transition, so it's not like I would know. But I think both are great. But Elijah Craig Barrel Proof to me has kind of been played out a little bit now. It's like old, you know. Bro, my stuff's not loading. Uh-oh. Somebody in Discord's got the Master Keep Wild Turkey 118 proof on deck. Uh-oh. Juan upped his list here, boys. All right, updated list. He's got the Weller 12, Kentucky Spirit Single Barrel, Stag 24C, the Springbank 12-year cask strength, Old Forester Single Barrel Proof Rye at 129.7 proof, a little Jack 7, Glenfiddich 14, and a E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof 131.1 proof. He said he's doing a little tasting with his brother-in-law. That's pretty cool. That's a good little lineup there. Not for the scotches for me, but I get it. Tron says, what's your favorite bottle last year? Wouldn't you like to know? If you were here for the New Year's Eve live stream, you would know. So just a recap for everybody. On New Year's Eve, every year, it's our annual stream. It's also the anniversary of this channel. We do a live stream every year where I go through my entire collection. I do all my bourbon awards. I put in enough effort. Like I'm not gonna answer all those until like at least February. Go watch the stream. It's worth the watch. I promise. It was a good time. It's a good time. It's long, but it's a good time. What bottles are you hunting for this year? So I'll give you like a handful. I'd say I'd love to find a Jack Daniel's Tanyard Hill. That's That one's high on the list. Still Austin Tanager 2, second edition, whatever they're calling it. That one's high on the list. It's Still Austin Blue Corn. Really want that one. Obviously, I want like an antique 107, another Stag, another Sazerac 125 proof. I'll probably buy 2 of those the next time I find that one. But then like some Cooper's Craft 100. I'd like to find, what was the other one? I want to try a couple of the Hard Truths, different ones, not other than the weeded. There's a couple other things too. I want to get the 13th Colony Maple finally. I've supposed to have one last year, like early last year. Never picked it up. It's a couple things. I don't really try to keep my hunting list too long. I like to like hunt for one thing at a time unless something like really pops up. So Drew says that Woodford Sweet Oak is so expensive at $170. I've not had it, but it's worth the price. I haven't had that. Not that one. $170 is tough for me to bite on. Ever since that Woodford's Double Oak cost me like $180, almost $200, like it's tough to buy those bottles anymore. Have you had the Blue Note Honey Finish Rye? Got that at Crossroads and I'm digging them. No, but that one is on my list too. I know where one's at, but I almost just never buy it. It's part of the issue with that one. Tron says, I'm too busy shooting guns in the air and pop pong fireworks in the middle of the road New Year's Eve live stream. We'll watch. Oh, yeah, no, I get it. Like, I get it. Like, everybody's busy. I do need to switch what day we do that live stream, but I just love doing it on New Year's Eve. You know what I mean? Like, the first time I ever went live was New Year's Eve 2023. Was my first live stream. And it was me, who now is Caterpillar, a couple of the OGs on the channel. And I was just figuring out how to live stream, just drinking, you know what I mean? Just having a good time. And I was like, that's when I literally was like, I love going live. I love doing live streams, just hanging out with you guys, having drinks, doing whatever. They've obviously evolved over the years. From I used to stand up and stand in my living room, you know, and now we're in a complete different bourbon room with multiple cameras and all types of fancy shit. So, but we always kind of do an award ceremony. We do best mod, we do best rye, best bourbon, best pour of the year. I did a new one this year. It was called Giving the People What They Want Award, best craft whiskey. And it's all like my preference too. It's not like what the world thinks. It's just what I think, you know, from what I've had. So Chad says, Old Forester President's Choice Rye, any good? I hear really good things. I have not had that one. I went up there twice to Total Wine when they said they had it. And both times when I got there, they're like, we don't know what you're talking about. I was like, you just texted me. But what sucks is for the New Year's Eve live streams is like, it's like the one time people are really not watching bourbon live streams. You know, there was still like a handful of you guys. Shout out to you guys because we stayed pretty steadily with 20, 30 people watching that night, which was crazy. So pretty good live stream. But obviously, I know most people are busy. But you can always go back and rewatch it. It's there forever. It's not monetized, so no commercials. I couldn't because of all the shit that I used in that live stream. But I definitely think it was our best one yet. We'll say. I had graphics. I had music. It was a good time. Go watch it. I had a good time. That was the most important part, you know. If I'm going to spend my New Year's Eve live stream and I want to have some fun, you know. They probably try to sell you a bottle of Wilcott instead. Yeah, they always do. What was the other one? There was one I dropped in Discord like a year ago that looked super fancy. Comes in this box. It was like a double oak skinny bottle. They were like, you got to try this. And I was like, should I? And then I realized it was another one of their gimmicky things. And I was like, get out of here. We've been live almost 2 hours. I was not expecting to be live this long tonight. I thought it was going to be a quick one, to be honest. I wasn't going to go live all January. I was going to do dry January, but that kind of ended like January 5th or 7th, one of the two. And it was on like Donkey Kong. But, well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, just kidding, 21 up only. I think that's where we're going to end the stream. 2 hours, I think that's long enough. Want to go ahead and get the room cleaned up, go get me a little snacky snack. It's cold, so I might go out by the fire, have me a little cigar. If I do, who knows, maybe another live stream. Or join the Discord and I'll be in there. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, I will see you on. I had to find the outro. The other side. Peace.
Yeah, pour it up, let the bourbon speak. Call me old-fashioned, we bringing that heat. 100 proof, sipping flavor on blast. Dabbling with the rear view, raise your glass. Bourbon hunting for unicorns, that's the chase. High ride heat, put a smile on my face. Respect to the OGs, yeah, they set the tone. Tucks, Mr. Lopez, I rock, there it gone. Notes hit strong, low-key, smooth ride.